She accepted the rejection without a tear. 7 years later, the Alpha learned why. Chapter 1. The day of the rejection began with rain. Cold rain. Relentless rain. Alara woke before sunrise. The healer's quarters were still dark. Most people hated rainy mornings. She loved them. Rain made the world quieter, and quiet places felt safer. She tied back her silver blonde hair and carried 2 baskets toward the herb gardens. Her dress was old, her boots leaked, but she smiled anyway. Old Mother Bryn noticed. "You always smile when it rains." Alara shrugged. "The flowers drink first." Bryn laughed softly. "You worry more about flowers than yourself." Maybe that was true. Nobody worried about Alara. Not since her parents died. Not since she became the healer's assistant. She belonged nowhere. Not among warriors. Not among nobles. Not among Omegas. She simply existed. And somehow she was content with that. At least most days. A distant horn echoed across the valley. Alara stopped walking. Another horn followed. Then another. Bryn's smile vanished. The Alpha has returned. The entire kingdom had been waiting for that moment. Ronan Blackthorn, the future Alpha King. He had spent 2 years fighting rogue packs across the northern territories. Stories followed him everywhere. Stories about impossible victories. Stories about monsters slain beyond the frost peaks. Stories about strength no ordinary wolf possessed. Alara had never spoken to him. Not once. She preferred it that way. Powerful people rarely noticed servants. And when they did, trouble usually followed. The village exploded into activity. People rushed through muddy streets. Children climbed fences. Merchants abandoned their stalls. Everyone wanted to see the returning Alpha. Everyone except Alara. She continued gathering herbs, until a messenger arrived. Breathless, panicked, looking directly at her. Alara. Her stomach tightened. Nobody important ever searched for her. "Yes, the council requests your presence." She blinked. "Mine?" "Immediately." Bryn frowned. "What happened?" The messenger shook his head. "I don't know." Which was a lie. His nervous eyes said otherwise. An hour later, Alara stood inside Moonstone Hall. She had never been there before. The building felt enormous. Stone pillars stretched toward the ceiling. Silver banners lined the walls. Nobles filled every seat. Their expensive clothing made her feel even poorer. People stared, whispered, judged. She wanted to leave. Then she saw Ronan. For the first time. The stories had not exaggerated. He stood taller than every man nearby. Dark hair, sharp features, cold gray eyes. The kind of presence that made conversations stop. The kind of man who seemed carved from stone. He wasn't looking at her. Not yet. Council Elder Varric rose from his chair. "Bring her forward." A guard guided Alara toward the center platform. Her pulse quickened. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The elder cleared his throat. 7 years ago, before Alpha Ronan left for war, an event occurred. Confusion spread through the room. Even Ronan looked puzzled. The elder continued. An ancient mating bond was identified. The hall erupted. Gasps. Whispers, questions. Alara felt the blood drain from her face. No. No. Please no. Not this. Not now. She looked toward Elder Varric. His expression held something close to regret, which terrified her, because Varric never regretted anything. Ronan finally looked directly at her. Their eyes met. A strange sensation passed through her chest. Brief, sharp, gone. The elder spoke again. The identified pair was Alpha Ronan Blackthorn and healer's assistant, Alara Vale. The hall exploded. Laughter, disbelief, shock. Someone actually choked on their drink. Ronan's expression hardened instantly, as if someone had insulted him. Alara lowered her gaze. She already knew what would happen next. She had known for 7 years. The bond had been discovered when she was 18. Varric had begged her to reveal it. She refused. Then Ronan left for war. The secret remained buried, until today. And now everything was unraveling. The elder turned toward Ronan. As future Alpha King, the choice is yours. Silence fell. Every eye fixed on him. Ronan studied Alara. Not warmly. Not curiously. Judging. Measuring. Finding her lacking. The silence stretched. Painfully. Finally he spoke. His voice was calm. Controlled. Merciless. I cannot accept her. A few nobles immediately smiled. Others laughed openly. Ilara stared at the floor. Exactly as expected. Ronan continued. The kingdom requires strength. More agreement. More nodding. The future Luna must unite powerful bloodlines. A woman near the front smirked. Everyone knew she hoped her daughter would become Luna someday. Ronan's gaze never softened. I wish her no harm. The words somehow hurt more. But I cannot accept this bond. The decision was final. Absolute. The hall waited. Everyone wanted a reaction. A breakdown. A plea. A scene. Alara lifted her head, looked directly at Ronan, and smiled. A small smile. Gentle. Almost grateful. As you wish, Alpha. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. Only for a second. Then it vanished. Ilara bowed, turned, and walked away. The laughter followed her. But something else followed too. A strange ache in her chest. Not because of rejection, not because she loved him. The pain came from something deeper, something she had hidden since childhood, something nobody knew, something connected to the mysterious mark concealed beneath her collarbone. A mark that burned for the first time in years. That night, after everyone celebrated the rejection, Alara packed her belongings. She worked quietly, carefully. Bryn watched from the doorway. You're leaving. It wasn't a question. Alara nodded. Tears filled the older woman's eyes. You don't have to. Yes, Alara whispered. I do. Bryn stepped closer. Because of him? Alara shook her head. No. The answer was true. She wasn't leaving because of Ronan. She was leaving because the mark had awakened. And that could only mean one thing. The secret her parents died protecting had finally found her. A sudden knock rattled the door. 3 hard strikes. Urgent. Dangerous. Alara froze. Nobody should know she was leaving. Bryn opened the door. A wounded warrior collapsed inside. Blood covered his armor. His eyes locked onto Alara. Then he spoke the words that changed everything. They found you. Alara's heart stopped, because she recognized the symbol carved into the warrior's shoulder, a silver crescent wrapped around a black flame, the symbol from her nightmares. The symbol from her mother's final warning, and the symbol belonging to the people who had been hunting her since birth. Then the dying warrior grabbed her wrist and whispered, "Run before the Alpha learns who you really are." Chapter 2. The room went silent. Rain tapped against the windows. The wounded warrior's breathing became rough, uneven, weak. Alara stared at the symbol burned into his shoulder. The black flame, the silver crescent. She had seen it only once before, on the night her mother died. 7 years of nightmares returned at once. Bryn knelt beside the warrior. He's losing blood. The man grabbed Alara's wrist harder. You must leave. His voice barely existed. They're already here. Who are you? Alara asked. The warrior shook his head. No time. His eyes filled with fear. Not for himself. For her. That terrified her more than anything. Please, he whispered. Run. Then his body went still. Bryn checked for a pulse. Nothing. The old healer slowly lowered her head. He is gone. Alara couldn't breathe. She looked at the dead warrior, then at the symbol, then at the travel bag beside her bed. The decision became easy. She had to leave. Tonight. Not tomorrow. Not at dawn. Now. A loud horn suddenly echoed through the village. One blast. Then another. Then another. Bryn's face turned pale. That's not a welcome signal. Alara already knew. Danger had arrived. Outside, wolves began shouting. Doors slammed. People ran through the streets. Bryn grabbed Alara's shoulders. Listen to me. The old woman's voice shook. You know something. Alara looked away. Bryn softened. You always did. Tears appeared in the healer's eyes. I never asked. Because I promised your mother. Alara froze. You knew? A little. Bryn nodded. Only enough to understand that someone powerful wanted your family dead. The words hit like a hammer. Her mother had never trusted many people. Apparently, Bryn had been one of them. The old healer pulled a small wooden box from beneath her bed. I was supposed to give this to you someday. Alara stared. What is it? I don't know. Bryn handed it over. But your mother said you would understand when the time came. A crash sounded outside. Much closer now. Both women jumped. The village gates. Someone had broken through. Alara took the box. It was surprisingly heavy, cold, almost icy. A strange vibration traveled through her fingers. As if something inside recognized her. Go, Bryn whispered. Now. Alara hesitated. Leaving meant abandoning the only home she had ever known. Bryn smiled sadly. Don't waste time crying over an old woman. Another crash. A scream. This time nearby. Very nearby. Alara's heart raced. She hugged Bryn tightly. For a moment, neither woman spoke. Then Alara grabbed her bag and ran. The rain hit her face immediately. The village was chaos. People rushed everywhere. Guards shouted orders. Torches flickered through the darkness. And moving among them were figures dressed entirely in black. Not villagers, not rogues, hunters. Their cloaks carried the silver crescent and black flame. One hunter turned. His eyes found Alara instantly, as if he had expected her. As if he knew exactly who she was. The man pointed. There. Fear exploded through her body. Alara ran. Mud splashed beneath her boots. Voices followed. More hunters appeared from side streets. Too many. Far too many. She cut through an alley, jumped a fence, nearly fell. A blade struck the wooden post beside her head. The knife buried itself deep. She didn't stop. Couldn't stop. A howl suddenly shook the valley. Powerful, commanding, Alpha Ronin. The entire village paused. Even the hunters. Another howl followed. Closer. Angrier. Alara kept running. The forest stood beyond the village. If she reached the trees, she might escape. A hunter appeared ahead, blocking the path. He drew a curved sword. His smile looked almost excited. Found you. Alara backed away. No weapon, no training, no chance. The hunter stepped forward. Then a massive gray wolf crashed into him. Bones snapped. The attacker flew several feet, dead before he landed. Alara gasped. The wolf shifted immediately. Ronan stood there, rain dripping from his dark hair. His expression was dangerous. What is happening? She stared. Of all people, why him? Another hunter emerged. Then another. Then 5 more. Ronan's eyes narrowed. The Alpha noticed their symbols. The black crescent. One hunter laughed. So the famous Alpha recognizes us. Ronan moved slightly, protectively, placing himself between Alara and the attackers. The gesture surprised both of them. The hunter noticed too. His smile widened. Interesting. Ronan's voice became ice. Leave. No. The hunter tilted his head. We came for the girl. Silence. Rain. Tension. Then Ronan spoke. What girl? The hunter looked directly at Alara. The last daughter of House Aurelian. The world stopped. Ronan frowned. Alara's heart nearly burst. Nobody had spoken that name in years. Nobody. The hunter continued. Surely you know who she is. Ronan looked at Alara, confused, suspicious. She couldn't meet his gaze. Because she had never heard that name before either. House Aurelian. What did it mean? Who were they? Why did everyone seem to know except her? The hunter laughed again. She doesn't know. Ronan's expression darkened. What are you talking about? The hunter raised his sword. We don't have time for history lessons. The attackers charged. Everything happened at once. Ronan moved like lightning. One hunter fell. Then another. Then a third. Alara had never seen anyone fight like that. It was terrifying, beautiful, impossible, but there were too many enemies, and more kept arriving. The hunters weren't trying to kill Ronan, they were trying to reach her. One slipped past, then another. Alara ran. A blade cut her sleeve. Another missed her neck by inches. She stumbled over a root. The wooden box flew from her hands. It struck a stone, cracked open. A brilliant silver light burst into the night. Everyone froze. Hunters, guards, Ronan. Even the rain seemed to stop. Inside the shattered box lay a necklace. Simple, ancient, beautiful. A silver pendant shaped like a crescent moon. The moment Alara touched it, the mark beneath her collarbone ignited. Pain exploded through her body. She screamed. The ground shook, trees bent, wolves across the valley howled in terror. A pulse of silver energy erupted from her chest. The nearest hunters were thrown backward. Ronan staggered. Shock filled his face. Not fear. Recognition. Impossible recognition. As though he had seen this power before. The silver light slowly faded. Alara dropped to her knees, breathing hard, confused, terrified. Ronan stared at her. Not at the necklace, not at the hunters, at her. The same way someone stares at a ghost. Then he whispered words that made her blood run cold. No. His voice cracked. No, that's impossible. Before she could ask what he meant, a new voice echoed from the darkness. Old, powerful, familiar. After all these years, a hooded figure stepped from the trees. The hunters immediately knelt. Every one of them. The stranger looked directly at Alara, then smiled. At last, Your Highness. And suddenly Alara realized the hunters had never come to kill her. They had come to bring her home. Chapter 3. Nobody moved. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Rain slid from the leaves. Silver light still lingered around Alara's fingertips. And every hunter remained on one knee. The hooded stranger stepped forward slowly, like a man approaching something sacred or dangerous. Perhaps both. Your Highness. The words echoed in Alara's mind. She shook her head. You have the wrong person. The stranger smiled. No. His voice was calm. We finally found the right one. Ronan stepped between them. Instantly, protectively. The movement surprised everyone, including Ronan. The hooded man's smile faded. Move aside, Alpha. No. Ronan's answer came without hesitation. The stranger studied him, then laughed softly. You rejected her this morning. The words struck like a slap. Several hunters smirked. Ronan's jaw tightened. That is none of your concern. Oh, but it is. The stranger's gaze shifted toward Alara. It changes everything. Alara pushed herself to her feet. Her knees still trembled. I don't understand any of this. The stranger removed his hood. An elderly man appeared. White hair, golden eyes. A long scar crossed his face. Yet something about him felt strangely kind. My name is Cassian. He bowed deeply. Much deeper than anyone had ever bowed to her. I served your mother. The world tilted. My mother? Lady Seraphina Aurelian. The name meant nothing, yet hearing it hurt, as though a forgotten memory had awakened. Cassian watched her carefully. They erased everything. Who? The people hunting your bloodline. Alara frowned. You said these hunters serve me. They do now. His expression darkened. They once served the people who destroyed your family. Confusion only grew. Nothing made sense. Ronan spoke. Start explaining. Cassian looked at him for several seconds, then nodded. Very well. The old man turned toward Alara. 7 years ago, your parents died protecting a secret. Alara's chest tightened. I know that much. No. Cassian shook his head. You know almost nothing. Pain flickered across his face. The truth is far worse. The forest became silent again. Even the hunters listened. Cassian took a slow breath. There was once a kingdom older than every pack alive today. Alara stared. A kingdom? The Moonborn Kingdom. The name felt strangely familiar, like hearing a song remembered from childhood. Cassian continued. The moonborn rulers carried a gift. A gift? A blessing. His eyes settled on the silver pendant around her neck. The power to heal dying wolves. Alara froze. A memory flashed through her mind. A wounded bird. A broken wing. Her hands glowing silver. The bird flying away. She had been 6 years old. She thought it was a dream. Cassian saw her expression. You remember? A little. The old man nodded sadly. Your family protected that gift for centuries. Ronan crossed his arms. If this is true, why hide her? Cassian looked directly at him. Because some people wanted that power for themselves. His voice hardened. They murdered thousands, trying to obtain it. The Alpha's expression changed, slightly, almost imperceptibly. But Alara noticed. He believed part of it, which somehow frightened her more. Cassian stepped closer. You are the last surviving heir. No. Alara immediately shook her head. No, I'm not. You are. I would know. You were a child. The old man's voice softened. They took your memories. The forest spun. Took them? Cassian nodded. Your parents allowed it. The words hit hardest of all. Why? To save your life. Silence followed. Heavy, painful silence. Alara wanted to argue, wanted to reject everything, but pieces suddenly fit together. The strange dreams, the mark, the feeling that part of herself was missing, questions she could never answer. Ronan watched her closely. His eyes had changed. The cold judgment from Moonstone Hall was gone, replaced by something else, something uncertain. Then a howl echoed across the mountains. Everyone froze. Cassian's face lost all color. No. Another howl followed, much louder, much deeper. Ancient. Wrong. The hunters immediately stood. Fear appeared in their eyes. Real fear. Alara noticed. What was that? Nobody answered. A third howl shook the valley. Trees trembled. Birds exploded from the forest. Even Ronan looked alarmed. Cassian whispered a curse. What is it? Alara asked again. The old man finally looked at her. The hollow wolf. The name meant nothing, but it terrified everyone else. Ronan's expression hardened. That's impossible. I wish it were. Cassian glanced toward the distant mountains. The prison is breaking. Alara felt a chill. What prison? Nobody answered immediately. Because another sound interrupted them. A scream. Human. Close. Very close. One of the hunters turned. Movement! Figures emerged from the darkness. Dozens. No. Hundreds. They moved strangely, stumbling, twisting. Their eyes glowed pale white. Ronan instantly stepped forward. Get behind me. The command surprised Alara. Again. The creatures kept coming. Villagers. Guards. People she recognized. But something was horribly wrong with them. Their bodies looked lifeless. Their faces empty. Cassian's voice became grim. The hollow wolf's servants. One creature lunged. Ronan killed it instantly. The body hit the ground, then rose again. Every hunter stepped backward. Ilara's stomach dropped. Dead wolves shouldn't stand. Yet these did. The forest erupted into chaos. More creatures poured between the trees. Hundreds. Maybe more. Ronan drew his sword. Cassian shouted orders. Hunters formed defensive lines. But Alara noticed something strange. The creatures ignored everyone else. Every single one moved toward her. Only her. A hunter saw it too. They're targeting the air. Fear spread through the group. Ronan looked at Alara, then at the approaching horde, then back at her. Decision flashed across his face. Instant. Absolute. Take her north. Cassian blinked. What? Take her and run. The old man frowned. And you? Ronan raised his sword. I'll hold them here. Alara stared. Why? Why would he do that? Hours ago he didn't want her as his mate. Now he was willing to die protecting her. It made no sense. The first creatures reached them. Battle exploded. Steel, blood, howls. Screams. Ronan fought like a storm. Every swing dropped another enemy. Yet more kept coming. Far more. Cassian grabbed Alara's arm. We have to go. No? She looked toward Ronan. He'll die. He knows. The old man's voice was harsh. And he'll die for nothing if you stay. Another wave crashed into the Alpha. Even Ronan staggered. The numbers were overwhelming. Alara's chest tightened. Something felt wrong. Not the battle. Not the monsters. Something deeper. A strange pull connected her to Ronan, as if invisible threads stretched between them. The feeling grew stronger, painful, urgent. Then she saw it. A wound, deep across Ronan's side. Blood soaked his shirt, yet he kept fighting. Nobody else seemed to notice, but she did. And suddenly the mark beneath her collarbone burned. Silver light appeared around her hands. Stronger than before, warmer, alive. Cassian's eyes widened. No. Alara looked down. The glow intensified. What is happening? The old man's face filled with shock. Your gift. The silver light spread outward. Toward Ronan. Across the battlefield. Ignoring every obstacle. The moment it touched him, his wound began to close. Instantly. Completely. The battle stopped. Not all at once, but enough. Enough for everyone to see. Ronan stared at his healed side. Hunters stared. The creatures stared. Even Alara stared. Because she had never done anything like that before. Then one of the white-eyed creatures spoke. Not growled. Not screamed. Spoke. Its voice sounded ancient. Broken. Terrifying. The moon air lives. Every creature immediately dropped to its knees. Thousands of pale eyes turned toward Alara, and together they whispered the same horrifying sentence. The hollow wolf has awakened for her. Chapter 4. The battlefield fell silent. Thousands of white eyes stared at Alara. Not with hatred, not with hunger, with recognition. That frightened her most. Rain continued to fall, softly now, almost gently. The creatures remained kneeling, waiting, watching. The same ancient voice spoke again through the nearest servant. The moon air has returned. Alara stepped backward. I don't know what that means. The creature tilted its head, as though confused by her answer. Then its pale eyes shifted toward Ronan. Something changed. The respect vanished. Instantly, the creature's expression twisted into rage. He carries the king's blood. Cassian's face darkened. Ronan narrowed his eyes. What king? The creature smiled. A horrible smile. The last king who betrayed us. Before anyone could react, every servant lunged at once. The battle exploded again. Cassian grabbed Alara. Move! This time she didn't argue. The hunters formed a circle around her. They ran north through the forest. Branches whipped against their faces. Howls echoed behind them. And through it all, Alara kept looking back. Searching for Ronan, she finally spotted him. Far behind, surrounded. Still fighting. Still refusing to retreat. A strange ache settled in her chest. She barely knew him. Yet the thought of losing him hurt. The realization disturbed her. She pushed it away. Focus. Survive first. Questions later. The group ran for nearly an hour. Nobody spoke. Nobody slowed down. Eventually they reached a narrow canyon hidden between cliffs. Guards emerged from concealed positions. Dozens of them. All wearing the silver crescent. One guard gasped when he saw Alara, then immediately bowed. Others followed. Soon every warrior in sight was kneeling. Alara hated it. She wanted them to stop. Cassian noticed. You're uncomfortable. Of course I am. The old man almost smiled. Your mother felt the same way. The mention of her mother still felt strange. Like discussing a person she never truly knew. Cassian guided her through the canyon. A hidden fortress appeared beyond the cliffs. Ancient stone towers. Massive walls. Moon symbols carved everywhere. The place looked older than any structure she had ever seen. Welcome home. Alara stared. The words landed heavily. Home. No. This wasn't home. The healer's quarters were home. Bryn was home. The herb garden was home. This place felt like a dream. or a trap. A woman approached from the fortress entrance. Tall, elegant, perhaps 30 years old, golden eyes, dark hair. The moment she saw Elara, tears filled her eyes. My goddess. Before Elara could react, the woman embraced her, tightly, emotionally, like family. The gesture stunned her. The woman quickly stepped back. Forgive me. She wiped her eyes. I never thought I'd see you again. Cassian sighed. Elara, this is Lyra. The woman bowed. I served your parents. Another one. Another stranger who seemed to know more about her life than she did. Exhaustion settled into Alara's bones. Too much had happened. Far too much. Lyra noticed immediately. She needs rest. Cassian nodded. Agreed. They escorted her into the fortress. The corridors were beautiful. Moonlit murals covered the walls. Ancient paintings lined the halls. As they walked, Elara kept noticing something strange. The women in the paintings looked familiar. Very familiar. One mural finally stopped her. A silver-haired queen stood beneath a full moon. Her eyes. Her face. The resemblance was undeniable. Elara stared. She looks like me. Lyra's expression softened. She should. Who is she? The first moon queen. A chill passed through Elara. The painting suddenly felt alive. Watching her. Waiting. Cassian gently touched her shoulder. Come. Reluctantly, she followed. They eventually reached a private chamber. A warm fireplace crackled inside. Fresh clothes rested on the bed. For the first time all day, Elara felt safe. At least a little. Lyra smiled. Get some sleep. Will you answer my questions tomorrow? The woman hesitated, then nodded. All of them. Elara doubted that. Still, she appreciated the attempt. Once alone, she changed clothes and sat on the edge of the bed. The room felt too quiet. Her thoughts became louder. Bryn, the village, the attack, the pendant, the healing power, Ronan, especially Ronan. She hated that her mind kept returning to him. The rejection should have made that easy, yet it wasn't. Because when danger came, he protected her, without hesitation, without reason. A knock interrupted her thoughts. 3 soft taps. Elara opened the door. A young servant stood outside, nervous, holding a folded letter. For you. The girl quickly left. Elara frowned. Who would write to her? She unfolded the paper. There were only 6 words. Do not trust Cassian or Lyra. Her stomach tightened. A second line followed. Your mother feared them both. The letter contained no signature, no explanation, nothing else. Elara read it again and again. Her pulse quickened. Someone inside the fortress wanted to warn her, or manipulate her. She couldn't tell which. Either possibility was dangerous. Suddenly the fireplace flickered. The room darkened. A cold breeze swept through the chamber. The letter slipped from her fingers. Then a voice spoke behind her. Soft, female, familiar. Don't be afraid. Elara spun around. Nobody stood there. The room was empty. Completely empty. Her heart pounded. Who's there? Silence. Then the voice returned. Closer this time. I've waited so long. Tears instantly filled Elara's eyes. Not because she was scared, because somehow she recognized that voice. Impossible, yet undeniable. The voice belonged to her mother. Mom! The word escaped before she could stop it. A silver glow appeared beside the fireplace. Slowly, gently, the shape of a woman emerged. Beautiful. Kind. Heartbreakingly familiar. Elara's breath caught. The woman smiled sadly. Hello, little moon. The world stopped. For a moment, Elara forgot how to breathe. Her mother stepped forward. Not fully real. A spirit, a memory. Something in between, yet undeniably her. Elara's knees nearly gave out. You! Her voice broke. I watched you grow. The spirit's eyes glistened. I watched every birthday. Tears streamed down Elara's face. Why did you leave me? Pain crossed the woman's features. We had no choice. The answer felt too small. Too late. Yet somehow sincere. Elara wanted 1,000 answers. Instead, only one question escaped. Who am I? Her mother's expression changed, became grave, serious. The silver glow dimmed. Because this question mattered most. You're not just the moon heir. Fear crept into Alara's chest. Then what am I? The spirit looked toward the door, as though checking whether someone listened. Then she whispered words that shattered everything Cassian had told her. They lied to you. Ilara froze. What? Her mother's eyes filled with urgency. Cassian. A pause. Then another. And Lyra. The room suddenly felt colder. Much colder. Her mother's voice trembled. You must not tell them I appeared. Ilara stared, confused, terrified. Why? The spirit's answer came immediately. Because they're hiding the real reason your family was murdered. A loud crash echoed somewhere inside the fortress. The spirit turned sharply. Alarm filled her face. No. The glow around her flickered violently, as if something was pulling her away. Listen carefully. Ilara stepped closer. Her mother reached toward her. Their fingers almost touched. Almost. Then the spirit whispered the final warning. The person who betrayed us 7 years ago. The glow shattered. The spirit vanished, and the unfinished sentence hung in the air. Just as the fortress alarm bells began screaming throughout the night. Chapter 5. The alarm bells echoed through the fortress. Loud. Urgent. Relentless. Ilara jumped to her feet. Her mother's spirit was gone. The room felt empty. Cold. Wrong. The words she had heard moments ago refused to leave her mind. They lied to you, Cassian, Lyra, the person who betrayed us. A violent pounding shook her door. Ilara! Lyra's voice. Open the door! Ilara froze. Her mother's warning echoed again. Do not tell them I appeared. The knocking grew louder. We have to move. Move? Why? What happened now? Ilara quickly wiped her tears and opened the door. Lyra rushed inside. Several armed guards followed. The woman looked genuinely worried. Not guilty. Not dangerous. Just afraid. Which somehow made everything more confusing. What happened? Ilara asked. Lyra glanced down the hallway. We've been discovered. Fear tightened Ilara's stomach. The hollow wolf? No. The answer came immediately. Worse. That wasn't comforting. Not even slightly. Another alarm sounded. A different one. Deeper. Older. The guards exchanged nervous looks. One muttered a curse. Lyra grabbed Ilara's arm. We need to go. Where? The sanctuary. The word meant nothing to Ilara. Apparently everyone else understood. Because nobody questioned it. They moved quickly through the fortress. The halls were chaos. Warriors rushed in every direction. Doors slammed. Orders echoed. Fear spread through the entire stronghold. Ilara noticed something disturbing. Not fear of battle. Fear of someone arriving. As if a single person terrified them more than an army. She finally asked, Who found us? Nobody answered. Lyra's silence was answer enough. Whatever waited outside was bad. Very bad. They descended several staircases. Passed through hidden corridors. Eventually they reached a massive stone door. Moon symbols covered its surface. Ancient symbols. Powerful symbols. Several guards pulled the door open. A wave of cold air rushed outward. The sanctuary lay beyond. Ilara stepped inside, then stopped. Completely. The chamber was enormous. Far larger than the fortress above. Crystal pillars stretched toward a ceiling she couldn't see. Silver light glowed from the walls, and at the center stood a tree. A massive silver tree. Beautiful. Ancient. Alive. Its branches shimmered like moonlight. Its roots disappeared deep into the earth. Ilara couldn't look away. The tree felt familiar. Almost like family, Lyra noticed. It recognizes you. What is it? The heart tree. The woman's voice softened. It has protected our people for thousands of years. Ilara slowly approached. The tree's silver leaves rustled, though there was no wind. No movement, nothing. The branches seemed to reach toward her, welcoming her. A strange warmth spread through her chest. Then she heard a voice, not aloud. Inside her mind. Little moon. Ilara gasped. The voice sounded ancient, gentle, kind. What was that? Lyra frowned. What? The voice. The woman went pale. Immediately. You heard it? Alara nodded. Several nearby guards exchanged stunned looks. One whispered a prayer. Another dropped to one knee. The reactions confused her. Again. Everything confused her. Before anyone could explain, the ground shook violently. The sanctuary trembled. Dust rained from above. A distant explosion echoed through the fortress. Then another. And another. Someone was attacking. A guard rushed into the chamber. Blood covered his armor. P-Prime Commander. He looked at Lyra. Outer wall breached. The woman's face drained of color. How? The guard swallowed hard. There was only one attacker. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the heart tree seemed to grow still. One attacker? Impossible. The fortress held hundreds of warriors. Yet nobody looked surprised. Only terrified. The guard continued. He's coming here. Lyra closed her eyes, as if receiving confirmation of her worst fear. Alara stepped forward. Who is he? The answer came from behind her. A familiar voice. Cold. Ancient. Filled with regret. The man who killed your father. Everyone turned. A silver glow appeared beside the heart tree. Her mother. Again. The spirit had returned. Alara's breath caught. Lyra stumbled backward. Horror filled her face. Impossible. The spirit ignored her. Completely. Her eyes remained fixed on Alara. We don't have much time. Cassian suddenly entered the sanctuary. Several warriors followed. The moment he saw the spirit, he stopped. Shock covered his face. Real shock. Not the reaction of someone expecting her. The old man slowly bowed his head. My queen. The spirit's expression hardened. Do not call me that. The room became silent again. Alara looked between them. Something was very wrong. Cassian seemed devastated. Almost heartbroken. Her mother looked furious. The contrast made no sense. Until the spirit spoke. You failed us. Cassian lowered his gaze. I know. The simple answer surprised everyone. Especially Alara. The spirit stepped closer. You promised to protect her. I did. You promised to protect him. Pain flashed across the old man's face. I know. The conversation felt unfinished. Like hearing only half a story. Alara finally spoke. What happened? Both adults looked at her. Then at each other. Neither wanted to answer. That terrified her. Because silence usually hid ugly truths. The spirit finally turned back to her. Your father trusted the wrong person. Who? The answer almost came. Then another explosion shook the sanctuary. Closer now. Much closer. A scream echoed from somewhere above. Then silence. The kind of silence that follows death. A warrior rushed inside. His face was pale. They're all gone. Cassian stiffened. What? The defenders. The warrior struggled to speak. Every single one. Fear spread through the chamber. A fortress that strong should have lasted days. Maybe weeks. Not hours. Not minutes. Yet the attacker was already here. Then footsteps echoed from the corridor. Slow. Steady. Unhurried. Everyone heard them. Every warrior immediately drew weapons. Lyra stepped in front of Alara. Cassian moved beside the heart tree. The spirit's expression darkened. The footsteps continued. Closer. 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 Then a man appeared in the doorway. Alone. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Dressed entirely in black. His hair was silver. Not with age. Naturally silver. His eyes glowed pale blue. Ancient scars crossed his face. And despite standing alone, he felt more dangerous than an army. The entire room went still. Even the heart tree's branches stopped moving. The stranger looked directly at Alara. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then something shocking happened. The terrifying stranger dropped to one knee. Every warrior stared. Every guard stared. Even Cassian stared. The man lowered his head and spoke in a voice roughened by years of grief. My princess. Alara couldn't breathe, because tears were running down the stranger's face. And somehow, Somehow she recognized him. Not from memory. Not from dreams. From somewhere deeper. The silver-haired man looked up. A broken smile appeared. Then he whispered the words that shattered everything she believed about her family. "I am your father's brother." A pause. A painful pause. Then came the true shock. "And I am the one who ordered your parents' deaths." Chapter 6. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The words hung in the sanctuary like a curse. "I am the one who ordered your parents' deaths." Alara stared at the silver-haired man. Her mind refused to process it. Her father's brother. Her uncle. Her parents' killer. All at once. The combination made no sense. Yet nobody in the room called him a liar. Nobody denied it. Which made it worse. Much worse. Lyra raised her sword immediately. Merrick. The name carried hatred. Years of hatred. The silver-haired man barely looked at her. His eyes remained fixed on Alara, filled with sorrow, regret, something else, something almost like love. The sight disturbed her. "You killed them?" Her voice sounded small, broken. Merrick closed his eyes. "Yes." No excuse, no denial, no attempt to justify himself. Just one simple answer, and somehow that hurt even more. Rage finally broke through the shock. Alara stepped forward. "Why?" The question echoed through the sanctuary. Everyone waited. Merrick opened his eyes again. There wasn't another choice. Lyra laughed bitterly. "Don't." The man ignored her. "They were already marked." Alara frowned. "Marked by who?" Merrick's expression darkened. "A hollow wolf." Silence followed. Heavy silence. Cassian looked away. Lyra clenched her jaw. Neither seemed surprised. Alara noticed immediately. "You knew," Cassian sighed. "Part of it. Part of it." Everyone seemed to know part of the truth. Except her. Always her. The frustration became unbearable. "Enough!" Her voice rose. For the first time. "No more pieces." The sanctuary fell silent. No more half-truths. Silver light flickered around her hands. The heart tree's branches trembled. Everyone noticed. Everyone. Alara took another step forward. "Tell me everything." Merrick studied her, then nodded. "Very well." The silver-haired man slowly stood. The hollow wolf was not always a monster. Alara frowned. What was he? A king? The answer shocked her. Merrick continued. "The first Moon King." The chamber became deathly quiet. Even the spirit of her mother closed her eyes, as though remembering something painful. Merrick's voice softened. "Thousands of years ago, he loved the first Moon Queen." Alara glanced toward the mural she had seen earlier. The woman who looked like her. The same queen? Yes. A strange feeling settled in her chest. Merrick continued. "They ruled together." His eyes grew distant. "As mates." The word echoed through the chamber. Mates, love, family. Everything changed after that. The queen died. Pain appeared in Merrick's expression. The king refused to accept it. Nobody spoke. Nobody interrupted. He searched for ways to bring her back. Alara already knew where the story was going, and she hated it. Eventually, he found something. Merrick's voice became grim. Something ancient. Something evil. The silver-haired man nodded. He traded his soul. A chill spread through the sanctuary. The ritual failed. Silence. Instead of reviving his mate, it transformed him. The heart tree rustled softly, almost sadly. Merrick looked toward the ceiling. He became the hollow wolf, a monster born from grief, a king destroyed by love. For a moment, Alara almost pitied him. Then she remembered the dead villagers, the pale-eyed servants, the fear, the destruction. The pity vanished. "What does that have to do with my parents?" Merrick looked directly at her. "Everything." The answer came immediately. "Because the hollow wolf believes you are her." Alara froze. "What?" The queen. Her stomach dropped. "No." Merrick nodded slowly. "Every generation, a daughter of your bloodline resembles her." The words felt impossible. Absurd. Yet somehow nobody argued. Not Cassian, not Lyra, not even her mother. Merrick continued. This generation. His eyes softened. That daughter is you. The sanctuary became silent again. Alara struggled to breathe. The idea felt ridiculous, terrifying, and somehow worse than either. The hollow wolf thinks you're his queen reborn. A terrible realization formed. Slowly, painfully, the creatures kneeling before her, the whispers, the obsession, the hunting, all of it suddenly made sense. Not because they wanted the moon heir, because they wanted her. The hollow wolf wanted her, a monster thousands of years old. The thought made her sick. Merrick's expression darkened further. When your parents realized it, they hid you. Ilara swallowed. And you killed them. The accusation hung in the air. Merrick didn't flinch. I ordered their deaths. The distinction sounded meaningless. Until he continued. Because they begged me to. The world stopped. Ilara stared. No. Merrick nodded. Tears appeared in his eyes. They knew the hollow wolf had found them. Her mother's spirit lowered her head. Pain crossed her face. Confirmation. Horrible confirmation. Merrick's voice shook. Your father asked me to do it. No. He did. Ilara stepped backward. Everything felt unstable. Wrong. Impossible. Merrick took a slow breath. If the hollow wolf captured them alive, he would learn where you were. Silence. Your parents chose death instead. The words shattered something inside her. Because she believed him. She didn't want to, but she did. Merrick looked away. I carried out their request. No pride, no defense. Only guilt. Endless guilt. The kind that never healed. The sanctuary remained silent. Nobody knew what to say. What could anyone say? Ilara's parents had sacrificed themselves. Her uncle had obeyed them. And all of it happened because of her. The realization crushed her. A warm hand touched her shoulder. She turned. Her mother's spirit stood beside her. You were worth it. The words broke her completely. Tears streamed down her face. Years of grief. Years of loneliness. Years of wondering why. All of it poured out. Her mother embraced her. Or tried to. Their forms barely touched. Yet somehow, Ilara felt the warmth. The love. The loss. For several minutes nobody spoke. Nobody interrupted. Then a familiar howl echoed across the mountains. The hollow wolf. Closer now. Much closer. Everyone tensed immediately. Merrick's face darkened. He knows where she is. See? Cassian swore under his breath. Lyra tightened her grip on her sword. The spirit looked terrified. Truly terrified. Not for herself. For Ilara. Then another voice echoed through the sanctuary. A different voice. One everyone recognized instantly. Ilara! Ronan! The Alpha's shout rolled through the chamber. Alive! He was alive. Relief hit Ilara so suddenly it startled her. Why was she relieved? Why did it matter so much? The answer frightened her. Before she could examine it, Ronan appeared in the doorway, covered in blood, bruised, exhausted, yet standing. His gray eyes immediately searched the room, until they found her. Only her. The tension vanished from his face. Instantly. And he crossed the chamber, ignoring everyone else, ignoring the weapons pointed at him, ignoring Merrick, ignoring the spirit. His focus remained entirely on Ilara. Are you hurt? The question came without hesitation, without calculation, without politics, just concern. Pure concern. Ilara stared. For several seconds she couldn't answer. Something had changed, not only in him, in herself. The realization scared her. Ronan seemed unaware. Or perhaps he wasn't, because his eyes softened slightly, a look she had never seen before. Then Merrick spoke. Interesting. The single word shattered the moment. Every eye turned toward him. The silver-haired man studied Ronan carefully, then looked at Ilara. Then back at Ronan. A slow smile appeared. Not a happy smile. A worried one. A problem has arrived. Ronan frowned. What problem? Merrick sighed. The answer came quietly. almost reluctantly. The bond. Silence. Absolute silence. Ilara's pulse quickened. Ronan's expression hardened. What bond? Merrick looked directly at both of them, then delivered the revelation neither was prepared to hear. The mating bond you thought was rejected. A pause. A dangerous pause. Then the truth. It never broke. The room went completely still, and for the first time since Moonstone Hall, Ronan looked genuinely shocked. Chapter 7. The words struck harder than any weapon. It never broke. Ronan stared at Merrick, expressionless. For 1 second, 2, 3, then his control cracked. That's impossible. His voice echoed through the sanctuary. Nobody answered immediately. Because nobody looked surprised. Not Cassian, not Lyra, not even Ilara's mother. Ronan noticed. His jaw tightened. You knew. Cassian sighed heavily. Not for certain. But you suspected. The old man lowered his gaze. That was answer enough. Ilara looked between them. Confusion returned. Stronger than ever. What does this mean? Merrick turned toward her. The bond remained alive. His voice was calm, patient. The rejection should have severed it, but it didn't. Ilara swallowed. Why? Nobody answered, at least not immediately. Because the answer frightened them. She could see it. Merrick finally spoke. Because one of you never rejected the other. Silence. The implication landed heavily. Ilara's pulse quickened. Ronan's expression darkened. Neither spoke. Neither moved. The sanctuary felt smaller. Much smaller. Then Lyra broke the silence. It doesn't matter. Everyone looked at her. The woman seemed unusually tense, nervous, afraid. Ilara noticed immediately. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Lyra continued. The hollow wolf is coming. A good point. A very good point. Yet her urgency felt forced, as though she wanted the conversation to end. Ilara remembered the letter. Do not trust Cassian or Lyra. Her mother's warning followed. They lied to you. A terrible suspicion began to form. The pieces didn't fit. Not yet. But something hid beneath the surface. Something important. Before she could think further, the heart tree suddenly trembled. Violently. Silver leaves began falling. Dozens. Hundreds. The ancient tree seemed distressed. Afraid. The sight shocked everyone. Cassian rushed forward. No. The old man touched the trunk. His face drained of color. What happened? Ilara asked. Cassian looked toward the northern wall. The barrier. Fear appeared in his eyes. The barrier is collapsing. The room erupted into movement. Warriors rushed toward exits. Orders echoed. Weapons were drawn. The sanctuary transformed into controlled chaos. Merrick grabbed his sword. Ronan moved beside Ilara. Instinctively. Protectively. The action felt natural now. Almost effortless. Which somehow made it more dangerous. Ilara noticed. So did Merrick. The silver-haired man frowned. Deeply. Then a horn sounded outside. Long. Ancient. Terrifying. Every warrior froze. Not out of confusion. Out of fear. Pure fear. Merrick slowly closed his eyes. He's here. Nobody asked who. They already knew. The hollow wolf. The monster king. The ancient nightmare. The reason all of this existed. A second horn followed. Closer. Much closer. The walls shook. The heart tree shuddered again. Silver light flickered throughout the sanctuary. And then, everything went silent. The kind of silence that arrives before disaster. Then a voice echoed through the fortress. Deep. Ancient. Broken by centuries of grief. My queen. The words rolled through every corridor. Every chamber. Every soul. Ilara's blood turned cold. The voice continued. I know you're here. The sanctuary trembled. Dust rained from above. Several guards stumbled. One nearly fell. The voice returned. Softer now. Almost gentle. Please come out. That frightened Ilara more than shouting would have. Because the voice sounded sincere. Lonely. Heartbroken. The voice of someone searching. Not hunting. Merrick's face hardened. Don't listen. Another pause followed. Then the voice spoke again. I've searched for you for 1,000 years. The words echoed through the chamber. 1,000 years. The loneliness inside those words was unbearable and terrifying because it sounded real. Alara suddenly felt sorry for him. The moment the feeling appeared, she hated herself. People died because of him. Entire families. Entire kingdoms. No amount of loneliness excused that. Yet still, part of her pitied him. The reaction disturbed her. Then something impossible happened. The silver pendant around her neck began glowing, brightly, violently. The same silver light spread across the sanctuary, across the heart tree, across the walls. Every symbol in the room awakened. Cassian looked horrified. No. Ilara grabbed the pendant. It burned against her skin. The glow intensified. The ancient voice outside suddenly laughed. A broken laugh, filled with hope. He remembers me. Merrick cursed. Ronan stepped closer. What is happening? Nobody knew, or perhaps nobody wanted to say. The pendant pulled gently toward the northern wall. Toward the hollow wolf, as if responding to him, as if recognizing him. Fear flooded Alara's chest, because for one brief second, she felt something else too. Recognition. Not her own. Someone else's. A woman's emotions. A woman's memories. A woman's grief. The sensation vanished instantly, but not before she saw a face. A beautiful queen standing beneath moonlight, looking at a man she loved. The vision disappeared. Alara staggered. Ronan caught her immediately. His hands steadied her. Warm. Strong. Real. The contact helped. Until another voice interrupted. How touching. Everyone turned. Lyra stood near the heart tree, alone, smiling. The sight felt wrong immediately. Terribly wrong. Because the smile held no warmth, no kindness, nothing familiar, only satisfaction. Alara's heart dropped. No. Cassian looked stunned. Lyra? The woman laughed softly. A sound nobody had heard before. A stranger's laugh. Poor Cassian. Her voice dripped with amusement. You never notice anything. The old man's face went pale. The realization struck him, hard. You're the traitor. Silence followed. Heavy silence. Lyra slowly applauded. Finally. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Alara's mother's spirit looked devastated. Not surprised. Devastated. Which somehow hurt even more. Lyra turned toward Alara. Her golden eyes looked different now. Colder, sharper, crueler. The letter was true. Alara froze. The letter. The warning. Lyra smiled. I wrote it. Confusion exploded through the room. What? Lyra laughed again. You were supposed to distrust Cassian. The old man looked shocked. Genuinely shocked. Why? The woman shrugged. Because confusion makes manipulation easier. Merrick raised his sword. Who do you work for? The answer came immediately. Without hesitation. Without fear. For the hollow wolf. The sanctuary erupted. Guards rushed forward. Weapons drawn. But Lyra wasn't worried. Not even slightly. Because she already had what she wanted. The woman lifted one hand. Silver symbols appeared beneath her feet. Ancient symbols. Forbidden symbols. Cassian's face filled with horror. No! Too late. The symbols ignited. The entire sanctuary shook. The heart tree screamed. Actually screamed. A sound of pain echoed through the chamber. Cracks spread across its silver trunk. Thousands of glowing leaves fell at once. Alara watched in horror. The ancient tree was dying. Lyra smiled. Triumphantly. The gate is open. Merrick's face turned white. The northern wall exploded inward. Stone shattered. Dust filled the air. A freezing wind rushed through the sanctuary. Then a figure stepped through the destruction. Tall. Ancient. Wrapped in shadows and moonlight. The hollow wolf had arrived. And the first thing he did was look directly at Alara. Then he whispered a single name. Not Alara. Not Moon Air. Not Princess. A different name. A forgotten name. The name of the queen he lost 1,000 years ago. And when Alara heard it, Something inside her answered. Chapter 8. The name echoed inside her mind. Not spoken aloud. Not remembered. Recognized. 1,000 emotions crashed through Alara at once. Love, loss, longing, grief. None of them belonged to her, yet she felt every one. The force of it nearly dropped her to her knees. The hollow wolf took one step forward. The sanctuary trembled. Not from power, from age, from presence, as though the world itself remembered him. His silver eyes never left Alara, not for a second. The monster everyone feared looked nothing like she expected. No fangs, no claws, no madness. Not on the surface. Instead, he looked tired. Heartbreakingly tired. Like a man who had carried sorrow too long. That somehow made him more frightening. Because monsters were easy to hate. Broken men were not. My queen. His voice cracked. The sound silenced the entire chamber. Ronan stepped in front of Alara immediately. The movement was automatic. Instinctive. Protective. The hollow wolf finally looked away from her. His gaze settled on Ronan. For the first time, emotion appeared. Hatred. Pure hatred. The temperature seemed to drop. Move. One word. Nothing more. Ronan didn't move. No. The answer came instantly. The ancient king stared at him, then laughed softly. The sound held no humor. Your bloodline never learns. Merrick stepped beside Ronan, sword raised. Cassian joined him. Then dozens of warriors. A line formed between Alara and the hollow wolf. The monster king looked almost disappointed. Still protecting cages? Merrick's expression darkened. We're protecting her. The hollow wolf shook his head. No. His eyes returned to Alara. You're protecting yourselves. The statement unsettled her. Because part of her wondered if he believed it. Truly believed it. The thought frightened her. Then Lyra stepped forward. Immediately kneeling before him. My king. The hollow wolf barely acknowledged her, as though she were insignificant. Useful, but insignificant. The betrayal suddenly looked pathetic. Lyra had destroyed everything, and the man she served hardly noticed her existence. The realization hit her too. For a moment, hurt flashed across her face, then vanished. The hollow wolf extended one hand toward Alara. Come with me. Silence. The simple request felt more dangerous than any threat. Alara shook her head. No. Pain crossed his face. Real pain, not manipulation, not performance. Real pain. The sight made her chest ache. Why? Why did his sadness affect her? She didn't know, and that terrified her. The ancient king took another step. Please. The words stunned everyone. Even Ronan. Nobody expected a monster to beg. The hollow wolf's voice lowered. I've waited so long. A vision flashed through Alara's mind. Moonlit gardens. Laughter. A silver-haired king holding someone's hand. A promise whispered beneath the stars. The image vanished instantly. Alara staggered. Ronan caught her again. The touch grounded her. The vision faded. The hollow wolf saw it. His expression hardened. Slowly, dangerously. You. His gaze fixed on Ronan. The hatred returned. Stronger this time. What did I do? Ronan asked. The ancient king smiled sadly. Not you. The answer confused everyone. Then came the rest. Your ancestor. Merrick cursed softly, as if he finally understood something. The hollow wolf looked toward Alara. He stole her from me. The words echoed through the sanctuary. A terrible silence followed. Then Alara realized something. The queen. The first moon queen. The woman from the visions. The woman everyone compared her to. She hadn't chosen the hollow wolf. She had chosen someone else. A different king. A different future. The realization explained everything. His grief. His obsession. His rage. 1,000 years of refusing to let go. The hollow wolf's eyes glistened. She promised forever. The sentence broke something inside Alara. Because beneath the madness lived genuine heartbreak. Ancient heartbreak. The kind that never healed. But grief did not justify destruction, and she knew that. The ancient king took another step. Come home. Alara met his gaze. For the first time. Fully, no. The answer surprised even her. The hollow wolf froze. The entire sanctuary froze. Alara continued. Her voice shook, but she continued. I'm not her. The words landed like a blade. Pain flashed across his face. Immediate, devastating. Yet she couldn't stop. You loved someone. A tear slipped down her cheek. But she isn't here. Silence. Heavy silence. The hollow wolf stared at her, almost pleading, almost desperate. You're wrong. No. Alara shook her head. You're lonely. The ancient king flinched. The reaction shocked everyone, even himself. You're grieving. Another flinch. You've been grieving for 1,000 years. The sanctuary became utterly silent. Nobody dared interrupt. Nobody dared move. The hollow wolf looked suddenly smaller. Not physically, emotionally. The weight of centuries appeared on his face, and for one brief moment, Alara thought she had reached him. Then Lyra spoke. Don't listen to her. The spell broke. The ancient king blinked, as though waking from a dream. Rage returned, faster than before, stronger than before. Lyra pointed toward Ronan. He's manipulating her. The hollow wolf's gaze shifted. Back to Ronan. Back to hatred. And suddenly Alara understood. Lyra didn't serve him out of loyalty. She served his obsession. She fed it, encouraged it, protected it. Because obsession made him controllable. The realization hit hard. Before she could speak, Lyra smiled, then drew a hidden blade. Everything happened at once. She wasn't aiming for Ronan, or Merrick, or Cassian. She was aiming for Alara. The knife flew through the air, fast, deadly, impossible to dodge. Several people moved. Too late. Far too late. Only one person reached her in time. Ronan. The Alpha threw himself forward. The blade buried itself deep into his chest. The world stopped. Alara screamed. Ronan staggered. His eyes widened. Blood spread across his shirt. Dark. Terrifying. The sanctuary erupted. Warriors charged. Cassian attacked Lyra. Merrick moved toward the hollow wolf. Chaos exploded around them. Alara heard none of it. Saw none of it. Only Ronan. Falling. The Alpha collapsed into her arms. His blood covered her hands. No. Her voice broke. No, no, no. Ronan tried to speak. Failed. Blood touched his lips. Panic consumed her. Not fear, not concern. Something much deeper, much more terrifying. The realization struck with brutal force. She couldn't lose him. Not now, not ever. The truth arrived all at once. Not slowly, not gently. Like lightning, like fire, like destiny. She loved him. The realization shattered every wall she built, every denial, every doubt, every fear. She loved him, and he was dying. Silver light exploded from her body, the strongest yet, brighter than the sun, brighter than the moon, brighter than the heart tree itself. The sanctuary disappeared inside the radiance. Everyone shielded their eyes, everyone except the hollow wolf. Because he wasn't looking at the light, he was looking at Alara, and for the first time in 1,000 years, the ancient king finally understood the truth. She was not his queen, because she had already given her heart to someone else. And the realization broke him. Chapter 9. The silver light consumed everything. Walls, shadows, fear. For a moment, the entire sanctuary vanished beneath its glow. Alara knelt on the floor, holding Ronan, crying openly. No longer hiding anything. No longer denying anything. The truth had already escaped. She loved him, and she was terrified. The silver radiance poured from her hands into Ronan's body, stronger than before, far stronger. The wound in his chest began closing, slowly, painfully, yet it was working. Hope surged through her. Then the healing stopped. Abruptly, the light flickered. Alara frowned. No? She pushed harder. More energy, More power. Nothing happened. Ronan's wound remained partially open. Blood continued flowing. Panic returned. Why wasn't it working? Cassian saw it first. His face turned pale. She's exhausted. Merrick cursed. The silver-haired warrior rushed forward. Alara, stop. No, she refused immediately. You'll die. I don't care. The answer shocked everyone, especially Ronan. His eyes opened slightly, weak, unfocused, yet open. The first thing he saw was her. Only her. A faint smile touched his lips, then vanished. Don't. His voice was barely audible. Alara shook her head violently. Be quiet! The alpha almost laughed. Almost. Even dying, he looked stubborn. The sight nearly broke her again. Nearby, the hollow wolf stood motionless, watching, silent. The realization had changed him. The rage was gone. The obsession, gone. Only grief remained. A grief deeper than any wound. For the first time, he looked every year of his age. 1,000 years. 1,000 lonely years. The ancient king slowly lowered his head. His voice barely rose above a whisper. She chose. Nobody spoke. Nobody interrupted. The simple sentence carried enormous weight. The hollow wolf closed his eyes, as if surrendering to a truth he had avoided for centuries. Then Lyra screamed. Everyone turned. The traitor was trapped beneath several warriors, bleeding, desperate, furious. You can't stop this. Her voice echoed wildly. The prophecy is already moving. Merrick frowned. What prophecy? Lyra laughed. The sound bordered on madness. You still don't understand. The woman looked toward Alara, then toward the heart tree. A cruel smile appeared. The tree is dying. Silence. Cassian's face drained of color. Immediately, the old man rushed toward the heart tree. His hand touched the trunk. Then his expression shattered. No. Fear gripped the sanctuary. Real fear. Not fear of battle. Fear of loss. The silver tree continued cracking. More branches broke. More leaves fell. The glow weakened. Alara looked up. What does it mean? Cassian struggled to answer. The heart tree anchors the barrier. A terrible realization spread through the room. The barrier, the protection, the prison, everything. Merrick's eyes widened. If the tree dies, Cassian finished the sentence. The hollow wolf's prison collapses forever. Silence followed, heavy silence, because everyone understood. Even Alara, even Ronan. The ancient king looked toward the tree, then away. Ashamed. The sight surprised her. The monster who caused all this looked ashamed. The contradiction hurt. Then Lyra laughed again. I spent 20 years poisoning its roots. The confession stunned everyone. 20 years. 20 years of betrayal. 20 years hidden beneath kindness. Cassian looked devastated. More than devastated. Broken. Because he had trusted her. The old man could barely speak. Why? Lyra's smile widened. Because history deserves correction. Nobody understood. Not completely. The woman looked toward the hollow wolf. Her eyes filled with devotion. Unhealthy devotion. Dangerous devotion. You should have been king. The ancient ruler stared at her. Confused. Almost disgusted. Lyra continued. The queen should have chosen you. Silence. The hollow wolf's expression hardened. No. The answer came instantly. Lyra froze. The response clearly wasn't what she expected. The ancient king stepped forward. Slowly. Sadly. Love cannot be stolen. The woman stared, shocked. The hollow wolf looked toward Alara, then Ronan, then back toward Lyra. The moment I tried to force it, pain crossed his face. I lost everything. The sanctuary fell silent. Even Lyra looked shaken. Because the truth came from the one person she never expected. The man she worshipped. The man she betrayed kingdoms for. The man who rejected her beliefs completely. The realization cracked something inside her. And dangerous people often became most dangerous when broken. Merrick saw it too late. Stop her, Lyra laughed. Then plunged her own blade into the floor. Ancient symbols ignited instantly. Red, violent, forbidden. The entire sanctuary shook. The heart tree screamed again. Louder this time. Far louder. A massive crack split its trunk. Silver light burst outward. The ground collapsed beneath everyone. People screamed. Warriors stumbled. Stone shattered. The sanctuary began falling apart. The roots! Cassian shouted. The roots are breaking. The prophecy had arrived, not as words, as catastrophe. The heart tree was dying. And if it died completely, everything ended. The barrier, the prison, the kingdom, perhaps the world. Alara looked toward the tree, then toward Ronan, then toward her mother. The spirit already knew. A terrible sadness filled her eyes. No, Ilara whispered, because suddenly she understood. The heart tree needed life, needed power, needed sacrifice. Her mother stepped closer. Tears filled her eyes. You don't have to, but they both knew. Yes, she did. The realization settled heavily. The moon air, the healing gift, the bloodline, everything pointed here, toward this moment, toward this choice. Merrick understood too. His face turned white. There must be another way. Cassian looked away, unable to answer. Because there wasn't. Alara slowly stood, ignoring her exhaustion, ignoring her fear. The sanctuary shook around her. Stone continued falling. The heart tree continued dying. And Ronan was still bleeding. The Alpha grabbed her wrist, weakly, desperately. No! His voice cracked. Alara knelt beside him. For one precious moment. One final moment. She touched his face. The gesture silenced him. Tears filled his eyes. The sight nearly destroyed her resolve. Nearly. I rejected you. His voice broke. The confession emerged suddenly, urgently. As if time was running out. Maybe it was. I was wrong. Alara smiled through her tears. I know. Ronan swallowed painfully. I searched for you. The words surprised her. What? After you disappeared. His grip tightened. I couldn't stop. 1,000 emotions flooded her chest. The Alpha looked at her as though nothing else existed. Because in that moment, nothing else did. I love you. The words arrived quietly. Simply. Honestly. No audience. No ceremony. Just truth. Ilara cried harder. Because hearing it felt wonderful. And unbearable. She leaned forward. She pressed her forehead against his. I love you too. The confession escaped at last. No fear. No hesitation. Only truth. For one beautiful moment. The collapsing sanctuary disappeared. The war disappeared. The prophecy disappeared. Everything disappeared. Leaving only them. Then the heart tree screamed once more. The sound shattered the moment. Reality returned. Cruel. Unforgiving. Ilara stood. Ronan tried to follow. Failed. She looked toward the dying tree. Toward her destiny. Toward sacrifice. And then something unexpected happened. The hollow wolf stepped forward. His silver eyes met hers. And for the first time since anyone had known him, the ancient king smiled peacefully. Then he said the last thing anyone expected. The sacrifice should be mine. And before anyone could stop him, he walked toward the dying heart tree. Chapter 10. The sanctuary shook violently. Stone crashed from the ceiling. Cracks spread across the walls. The heart tree was moments from death. Yet nobody moved, because the hollow wolf had just offered his life. Merrick stared at him. Cassian stared at him. Even Lyra looked stunned. The ancient king continued walking, slowly, calmly, as though he had already made peace with his decision. No. Alara stepped forward instinctively. The hollow wolf turned toward her. A gentle smile touched his face. For the first time, he no longer looked like a monster. Only a tired man. A man who had carried grief far too long. You don't owe me anything, Alara said. The ancient king laughed softly. No. His eyes glistened. I owe everyone. Silence followed. The simple answer carried centuries of regret. The hollow wolf approached the heart tree. Its silver light flickered weakly. Branches continued breaking. Leaves continued falling, dying, just like the world around it. Cassian's voice trembled. It won't work. The ancient king paused. What? The tree needs moonborn blood. Hope flickered, then died. The hollow wolf lowered his head. Of course. Nothing was ever simple. Nothing was ever easy. The sanctuary trembled again. A massive section of ceiling collapsed nearby. Warriors scattered. Panic spread. Time was running out. Then, Elara's mother spoke. A quiet voice. Yet somehow everyone heard it. He's wrong. Cassian looked up, confused. The spirit faced the hollow wolf. A strange sadness filled her eyes. The tree doesn't need moonborn blood. Silence. It needs love. Nobody understood. Not immediately, her mother continued. The heart tree was created from sacrifice. The ancient king froze. Recognition appeared in his eyes, as though he remembered something. Something forgotten. The first moon queen. His voice barely rose above a whisper. The spirit nodded. She gave her life willingly. Pieces began fitting together. Ancient pieces. Lost pieces. The first queen. The tree. The sacrifice. The truth hidden for centuries. The spirit looked toward Elara, then toward Ronan, then back to the hollow wolf. The tree answers love. A terrible realization struck the ancient king. His eyes widened. No. The spirit nodded. Tears filled her eyes. Yes. For a moment, nobody spoke. Because they finally understood. The heart tree didn't require death. It required choice. The same choice that created it. The same choice born from love. The hollow wolf slowly turned toward Elara, toward the woman he spent 1,000 years chasing. And at long last, he truly saw her. Not the queen, not a memory, not a replacement. Elara. Just Elara. A different woman. A different soul. A different love. The realization settled peacefully across his face. The obsession finally broke. Completely. The ancient king smiled. A real smile. Perhaps his first in centuries. You were right. Elara blinked. What? I'm lonely. A sad laugh escaped him. So very lonely. The honesty hurt. The vulnerability hurt. Because monsters rarely admitted pain. Broken men did. The hollow wolf looked toward the ceiling. Toward the moonlight filtering through the cracks. Toward a sky he had watched for 1,000 years. Then he whispered softly, I'm tired. The words echoed through the sanctuary, and everyone understood. He wasn't tired of fighting. He wasn't tired of losing. He was tired of existing. Tired of carrying grief. Tired of being trapped. Tired of remembering. The ancient king closed his eyes. A silver glow slowly appeared around him. Gentle. Peaceful. Beautiful. Not dark, not corrupted. The darkness that had surrounded him for centuries began peeling away, layer by layer. Like chains breaking, like a prison opening. The hollow wolf's voice softened. I think. A pause. A small smile. I think she's waiting. Tears filled Elara's eyes, because she knew exactly who he meant. The first queen, his lost love, the woman he never stopped searching for. The silver light grew brighter. The sanctuary became still. Even the heart tree stopped shaking, as though listening, watching, waiting. The ancient king opened his eyes one final time. His gaze found Elara. Thank you. 2 simple words. Nothing more. Yet they carried 1,000 years of sorrow, 1,000 years of gratitude. Then, the light consumed him. Completely. The hollow wolf vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Gone. Like moonlight fading at dawn. A peaceful silence followed. Then something incredible happened. The heart tree began healing. Slowly at first, then faster. The cracks closed, the branches strengthened. New silver leaves appeared. Hundreds. Thousands. The sanctuary filled with light. Warm, gentle, alive. Cheers erupted. Warriors laughed. Some cried. Cassian dropped to his knees. Overcome with relief, Merrick closed his eyes. A burden he carried for years finally lifting. Even Lyra stared in disbelief. Everything she sacrificed, everything she betrayed, gone. Because the man she worshipped had chosen peace. Not obsession, not revenge, peace. The realization shattered her. The woman collapsed silently, defeated by truth. The heart tree glowed brighter. Then a pulse of silver energy spread across the kingdom. Across mountains, across forests, across every border. The ancient prison sealed permanently. The hollow wolf's darkness vanished forever. The war was over. Finally, truly, over. A sudden gasp pulled Alara's attention away. Ronan, the alpha, still lay on the ground, weak, pale, bleeding. Her heart nearly stopped. She rushed to him. Immediately. The heart tree's new light followed her. Silver energy wrapped around her hands. Around Ronan. Around both of them. The healing resumed. Stronger than before. This time nothing resisted. Nothing interrupted. The wound closed completely. The color returned to Ronan's face. His breathing steadied. And slowly, his eyes opened. Relief crashed through Alara. So powerful it nearly knocked her over. Ronan looked at her, then smiled. A real smile. Rare, warm, beautiful. "Hi," Alara laughed through her tears. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't graceful, but it was real. "Hi." The alpha reached for her hand. She took it instantly. No hesitation, no fear, no distance. None remained. The bond between them pulsed warmly. Alive, whole, accepted. At last. Months later, spring arrived across the kingdom. Flowers covered the valleys. The scars of war slowly faded. Villages were rebuilt. Families reunited. Hope returned. The world felt lighter. Healthier, free. And on a bright morning beneath a clear blue sky, thousands gathered at Moonstone Hall. The same place where everything began. The same place where Alara had been rejected. The same place where people laughed. Today nobody laughed. Today everyone waited. Ronan stood at the center platform, dressed as Alpha King, strong, respected, beloved. Yet his eyes searched only one person. The moment Alara appeared, the crowd erupted. Cheers echoed through the valley. Not because she was a princess, not because she was the moon heir, because she was loved. The difference mattered. Ronan walked toward her, ignoring ceremony, ignoring tradition, ignoring everyone else. The crowd laughed warmly. The Alpha King stopped in front of her. His gray eyes softened, exactly as they always did now. Alara Vale. The familiar name made her smile. Not princess, not moon heir, just Alara. He took both her hands. 7 years ago, he had rejected her before the kingdom. Today he would correct that mistake. Ronan knelt. The crowd gasped. The Alpha King smiled. Then spoke the words everyone would remember forever. "Will you choose me? Not accept, not claim. Choose." Because love was always a choice. Alara's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. The best kind. She thought of Bryn, of her parents, of Merrick, of Cassian, of everyone who brought her here. Then she looked at Ronan, the man who learned too late, the man who searched anyway, the man who stayed, the man she loved. And this time, she smiled, just as she had 7 years ago. But now the answer was different. Yes. The crowd erupted. Cheers filled the sky. Ronan pulled her into his arms. The bond flared warmly, complete, certain, home. Far above them, silver leaves drifted from the heart tree, carried by the wind, like a blessing, like a farewell, like a promise. And somewhere beyond the veil of the world, beneath an eternal moon, a lonely king finally found the queen he had been searching for. While below, 2 hearts began the life they had waited 7 years to share. The end.